your needs. So everyone give it up for Greg, our second speaker today.
Hello. So you heard me. Well, those of you that did hear me on the podcast, I'm I'm not here to sell anything. I just want to pass along some wisdom. Uh, uh, there's a lot of solar going on in the world, and if you want solar panels next to your house, and you want to use it for your soul power, you don't want to be a slave to the power company, then you're talking 30, 40, $50,000 to do it correctly. And I can't foot that bill. I'm not that guy. I'm not gonna spend more than I would pay for a car to support uh, solar in my house. So I just wanted to be smart about it and be prepared. And after being in electronics for 35 years, this is DC. Batteries are DC electronics, and I worked in the DC electronics field as an applications engineer for 35 years. So, building a box like this that has 10 things in it, I got to stay behind the plane. Anyway, it's you can't just do it. You shouldn't go and put batteries in a box because it's metal and it's really dangerous to do it. So unless you have done it all your life, that I can show you here in a bit. I'll tip it up, but there's a lot in here. Um, so the reason I guess I'm here is I just want to pass along. Being prepared is an individual thing. You've got to figure out what you need to survive when your power goes out, and that's what I'm talking about right now. Is supporting when my power goes out. I live in the country and my power goes out all the time. Uh, you heard me talk. If you were listening to the podcast, we 8 to 10 hours without power when the ice storm hit, or not the ice storm, but the freezing cold temperatures that we had this year. We had snow, freezing cold temperatures, and our power went out right in the middle of it for, it was about 10 hours. But you can't survive without having a plan, you know. Uh, Fireplace is great. Fireplace really helped. But man, you got to get the power back on. You got to somehow communicate with the world. TV is great. It'd be great to hear what TV is saying about your situation. You know, the ham guys, they have a way to communicate. That's great. I think that's the best way. If you're a ham, you're never in the dark about any situation because you got somebody that you can talk to. But somebody who's just out in the country, man, get that TV going, get some lights on. Depending on the time of the year, back up your refrigerator, and you don't need sophisticated solar to do that. I plug this into the wall. I just leave this plugged in, so it's got a plug that gets plugged into the wall, and this stays charged 24/7. I have a battery charger in here that's more like a battery tender. It just keeps the batteries fresh. So I just leave it plugged in all the time. This box will do. This is a plug to plug it into my RV. I can do my RV for 4 hours with the air conditioning on with this box. So that's how powerful it is. It's 200 amp hours, so that's basically 200 amps for an hour. Or the air conditioner in my RV probably is running maybe 7 amps. So you can run the lights and TV and the air conditioner for 3 or 4 hours, which is really nice. You can stop in a rest stop and use all the power in your RV and just get going again. Uh, this box will charge with solar, with being plugged in, or you can use the solar input. A solar controller can be used plugged into a car. So you can actually put your whatever your alternator is putting out. Batteries like to charge the LiPo batteries that we use now like to charge up a little bit higher than what your alternator's doing. So you can throw this in and make your charging voltage 15 volts, and you can charge anything with 15 volts. Just put it through the controller and it'll shut it off when it gets charged right. But brands like Victron Energy, great brand, not real expensive, great stuff, great Facebook page, great web page. You can ask these guys anything. I love this company. If you're doing solar, any of the controllers that Victron has, the best stuff around. Once you do, this is also Victron, but this is a battery gauge. So this tells you how much battery is left, and that's pretty important too if you're going to be running on batteries. So there's a lot involved with building a box. I don't know, has anybody ever heard of a brand named Jackery? Jackery makes solar generators. So for $6,000, you can buy a 3K solar generator. $1,200. $1,200, Jackery, $6,000. You don't need the big, expensive stuff to do the job that the Jackeries are doing. This is so powerful. See, the way I've done it, I can add batteries into the front panel with this connector right here. So I can turn my solar generator, plug that in, and add a bank of batteries. Add as many batteries as you want. So there's another 200 amp hours, 200 amp hours. I can get 400 amp hours out of this box by just hooking other batteries into it. And that's really cool. So another cool thing about this box in our world, and especially your world, this is a 24-volt box, and I can jumpstart a 24-volt vehicle with this box. Tractor, whatever. But that's great for a farm application, right? It's a 24-volt unit. I've got 12 volts and 24 volts here, and I can take it out to jumpstart or to make the box stronger. So and Jackery, you can do that. You're spending $80 on a cable and 900 bucks on another battery box. You just don't need to be doing that. So this is maybe 1,200. That's another. I don't know. Batteries have really gone down. 100 amp hour battery. That's a 100 amp hour battery, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. This right here, this LiPo technology, this is what everybody's using. And this is why. That's a light battery. I mean, that's nothing. That's this is a 50 amp hour battery. So everybody loves these batteries. But, so what? The batteries are now, the 100 amp hour batteries are $250. So that's a $500 box. Just show you what I did. There's two batteries in there. I can use one battery or the other or turn them off. So when I add it on, I can shut this box down and turn it into that. But when I need the extra power, turn it on. And this is just, the hardest thing is to learn how to crimp these terminals. Because you gotta be able to pass the power. And to do it, you gotta, I love using these connectors too. If you're trying to pass power, Anderson. Anderson is the way to do it. They're real inexpensive. They plug into each other. So, oh yeah. And you can't plug it in the wrong way. So that's what I really like. After that's 500 amps. That's 200 amps. If you're going to do it the way I did it, it's really not a bad idea to be able to add on batteries. It just makes it makes this box so powerful. So with this box, with that box, I'm not kidding. You've got $10,000 with Jackery, and this is maybe two. And that's what I'm here to tell you, that you can back up your house. When my power goes down, I'm in my house. The first thing I do, I got power. Plug in a strip, start running extension cords to the refrigerator, lighting, get the lights on in your house, get your TV on, get a real TV. Make sure you have a real TV, not a on TV or a Roku. I mean, you can't watch. We can't watch Kansas City anymore on our Roku TV. Roku TV. They've taken it away. If it doesn't connect to the internet, there's another good tip. Go buy a TV that you can still get TV stations with. It's a great preparedness trick. So a lot of the components that you have to use to build a generator, and I would suggest it's really not that hard to do. It involves, so not only does it do that, but I can light it up. So I've got lights everywhere. That's what you want when you're, as soon as the box goes on, the lights come on. So you're at least lighting up the work area. That's a controller. That's $30. I got a fuse block in here for the circuits that I'm running. Not a lot of money. Now, the thing, where's that box? Oh no, here. Okay, sorry. If you're going to be designing a box, this is LiPo batteries, LiFePO4. You guys know that's what this is. This new light battery, right? That right there is a gel cell, and I can't hardly lift it. It's 100 pounds. But this is half the power of that. I love that they're really light because I'm not able to move the heavy stuff like I used to. But this is a 20 amp charger. This can charge this thing in about an hour and a half. Get a good charger. If you're going to build one of these boxes, I don't know, Amazon, $60. But this is the heart of it, and the other. So this is what takes your solar panels and charges your batteries. This is what charges your batteries when you have it plugged into the house. And you got to have this box powered up and ready to go. That's why you built it. That's what you're doing with it. Wow. Let me try not to pop so bad. So basically, charger, controller, battery. That's all that's in this box. And a bunch of connections. You don't have to put it in a box. You can put it on a board. Just do whatever you want. Just get it hooked together. But I like the box because it's neat and sweet. And this stays in my lab and I have a strip plugged in there. So when the power goes out, I just start plugging into the strip. I really do like to be able to take this in my art. So if the shit hits the fan, probably won't be in the house because it's going to be too hard to heat and cool. So this hooks up. There's an RV plug. This box runs my RV, and the same thing. I can have as many batteries as I want. Okay, this is an RV solar panel, right? It's 100 watt. It's the same amount as power as this one, but this is what we would want to use on our RV because you don't have that flat surface that the real panel is going to need. But I use two of these, and man, I can charge this box in 2 or 3 hours with two of these. I'm getting 6 amps each, so I've got 12 amps. On a really sunny day, these are pushing 22 volts and 10 amps apiece. So again, this isn't expensive. This is a $100 panel, but this, oh, okay, eco-worthy. I just checked this price before I came here, $63. I've got 4 of these not even open because you don't need it now. I'm waiting for the shit to hit the fan. I am waiting for pardon me, I'm waiting for the Democrats to shut our power down because that's the only thing they have left. And it's going to happen. They're very upset right now. And I didn't want to make it political, but I feel that's what's going to cause our power to go down for 7 days. And I don't know, you hear a lot of talk about